Arduino, power up. Okay, Arduino, power down. So hey guys, welcome back to another video. I'm Justin. Today I'm going to show you how to make an app in MIT App Inventor so you can control your Arduino with a Bluetooth module, so you can use voice commands to control your Arduino. So this week's video comes from a comment from last week's video where a guy, I think, is trying to make like a smart home system for his house using an Arduino with the Bluetooth module and the phone to do like one of those Google Homes or one of those Alexas. Now he's using relays, probably something like this, to control power for devices and a servo to control a lock on a door. Now this servo doesn't work and I don't have an extra servo, but I do have the relay. I will show you how to hook up the relay with audio commands, and it's very simple to adjust for a servo to control a lock or to control whatever, but just because I don't have one, I'll just stick with the relays. Now you can control anything in your house that you want to hook up an Arduino to have voice commands and kind of make like a DIY smart home. Okay, so I'm going to step into MIT App Inventor and we can get started. Okay, so here I am in MIT App Inventor. We're going to make a very simple app, and all it's going to do is connect to the Bluetooth module, and it's going to do the audio recognition and recording. So the first thing we're going to do is put a horizontal arrangement. Then inside this horizontal arrangement, we're going to do the list picker to connect to our Bluetooth device, and one button to disconnect. And for the list picker, we're going to put some text in here as in connect. And for the button, we're going to do disconnect. Then after that, we're going to change the font size to 30 just to make it a little easier to see. And you know what? Everyone likes dark mode nowadays, so let's change this to black. So like that. And then down here in sensors, connectivity, we're going to add the Bluetooth client. And then we can go into blocks to do the coding for our Bluetooth connection. So when list picker 1 is selected, so before picking, we want to set the list picker 1 elements to the Bluetooth client's names and addresses, which is here. So what this does is it shows you a list of all Bluetooth available devices that your device is currently paired with. And after something has been picked, we're going to connect to a Bluetooth device. So what we want to do here is get evaluate but ignore results. And then we can do in Bluetooth client. And in Bluetooth client, we can connect to address. And this address is going to be the selection of list picker. So we go down here, go into selection, which is right here. Then after that, we do the button. So after button 1 is clicked, we're going to disconnect from the device. So just call Bluetooth 1.disconnect. Then back into Designer, what we're going to do is we're going to add in one more label. We're going to make it 30. We're going to make the background, we're going to make the text color to white so it's easier, so you can see it on the black background. And then we're just going to put a minus sign just as a placeholder. Now this text box is going to show what you have said and the commands you have said to the phone so it can send over to the Arduino. So one more thing in Designer, we're going to add in sensors, we're going to add a clock. We're going to set that to 1 second, so 1000 milliseconds. And we're going to add in media, was that right there? Speech recognizer. Okay, so back into blocks, what we're going to do is when clock, one timer is activated, we want to set the speech recognition legacy to false. Now why we set that to false is so that when the audio records, it doesn't affect any other of the program. So then after that, we're going to set up a variable. We're actually going to set up two variables. We're going to set our first variable to record true. Record true, and we're going to set that to false right now, and I'll explain a little later why we do that. We're going to set that to false. And then for our second variable, we're going to do invoice. And then we're going to put text, and we're going to put a blank here. Okay, so back into clock one timer, we're going to do an if statement. We're going to do if not record true. So what this does is, if it's false, it should activate. So it defaults to being false, so it should activate. So if not record true, so meaning if it's false, it should activate. We're going to start the recording process. So what we're going to do is call speech recognizer 1 get text, and that will always start the audio recognition software. So after that, we're going to go back into speech recognizer 1. Then after getting text, we're going to put that here. We're going to set global. We're going to set record true. We're going to set record true to be partial. Now what happens here is every time the audio recorder is activated, partial is set to true. So that means when it's recording, when partial is true, it won't keep activating the record sequence. So but after it's done recording, it sets it back to false. It sets record true to false and restarts the recording process. Then after that, we're going to set invoice to be equal to the results of speech recognizer 1. And we're going to set, and then after that, we're going to set the label. So this label is going to be what text we're talking into. So we want to set that text to also equal results. So just to recap what this program does currently, it connects to a Bluetooth device and takes an audio and stores it into a variable. Now it doesn't do any processing yet. So that's what we're going to do now. So right now on the screen there should be a tree map, essentially, of what our audio is going to look like. Okay, so here I'm trying to explain how our audio analyzing is going to work. So after we say a phrase, what it's going to do is going to look for keywords within the phrase, and if like 3 words match, is going to give out a command to the Arduino. So let me give an example. So if I say Arduino lights on, we're going to follow the tree. So we're going to go Arduino, that's true, yes. Lights, that's true, yes. On, that's true, yes. And then we're going to send a 1 to the Arduino. Then if we say Arduino lights off, for example, it's going to give a 2. If we say Arduino door lock, that's be 3. And that's unlock. And if we say Arduino door unlock, it will give a 4 to the Arduino. Now how we're going to do our code is that it's just going to look for the keyword, so Arduino lights on, then send. It will not look for order, so if you say on lights Arduino, it will also send. Or you say Arduino turn on lights, it will send. It's just looking for the words within the phrase. Okay, so I think that makes sense. I'll see you back on the computer. Okay, so now we're back into the MIT App Inventor software. So what we're going to do is we're going to do an if statement, if, and then for text, we're going to do if contains text pieces, right here, and we're going to do contains all. I'm just going to move this out of the way a little bit. Let's put it up there. So in this text, what we're going to do is put our variable in of what our input is. So it should be variable invoice. Now, since this invoice is capital and non-capitalized, I'm just going to always set this to be lowercase, so downcase. I think it's called here. Yep, downcase. Then in this piece list, we're going to put a list. And in this list is going to be all the words that is needed to be true to give the command to the Arduino. So in the first case, we're going to do Arduino. Now this should all be lowercase since the variable is now lowercase, so Arduino. And make sure you spell these correctly because it won't understand a misspelled word. Arduino lights. Then I need to add one more item. On. Then after that, and if this is all true, what we're going to do is go into Bluetooth Client 1. We're going to send text. One. And then you can continue on with 2, 3, and 4. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, so after all of that, what we're going to do is we're going to set invoice variable back to just a line as a minus sign, and we're going to set invoice, and we're going to set label 1 text to just a line again. And one more thing we have to do is, since errors might occur and the errors don't affect anything, we just don't want it to give an error message, we're going to go into screen 1. If error occurs, we're going to evaluate but ignore result. And we're just going to put a true or something here, just so if any errors occur, we won't get the message. So that's all we need to do for the MIT App Inventor part. And we can go into Arduino and program that. Okay, so here we are in the Arduino Ide. So the first thing we're going to do in our code is set up the Bluetooth module. So it's serial.begin. And whatever your baud rate is, mine is currently configured to 38,400. I don't know if this is default, so you might want to check what yours is currently hooked up to, but mine's 38,400. And that's pretty much all we need in the void loop for our program. So, sorry, in void setup for our program. So in void loop, we're going to set up a variable, and this variable is going to be a character. We're going to say in voice. And we're going to equal that to a character 0. Now, this one does have single quotation marks. That's very important for a character byte. So after that, we're going to do an if serial available is greater than 0. Now what this does is checking if there is an incoming data from your phone. So if there is data coming in, we're going to set the invoice variable to equal serial.read. And then that's pretty much all we need for our program. So after that, we're going to do another if statement, and this if statement is going to take in the numbers we sent from the phone, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So for the first one, it's going to be if invoice equals single quotation marks 1. We're going to do something. So after that, I'll come back to what we want to do in the if statement, but we're going to do all 4 of these. So I'm just going to do a copy paste. 1, 2, 3, 4, and instead of all 1s, this one should be a 2. This should be a 3. This one's a 4. And now in these if statements, this is what you're going to do when the command comes in. So this could be controlling a relay, controlling a servo. So maybe the lights, 1 will be turning on because that's what the command is. When it comes to 2, it turns off the light. But for the door locks, you might want to turn the servo 90 degrees clockwise. Then on a 4, 90 degrees counterclockwise. Right now, I'm just going to set up relays just to show the point. So when 1 is active, I'm going to turn on relay 1. 2, turn off relay 1. 3, I'm going to turn on relay 2. 4, I'm going to turn off relay 2. So I'm going to set up my outputs. So pin mode. And I'm going to do 2, and I'm going to set that as an output. And I'm also going to do that for pin 3. Okay, and then in my if statements, I'm going to do a digital. I'm going to do, so in my if statements, I'm going to do a digital light, pin 2, and I'm going to put that as high. And then for the invoice equals 2, I'm going to send the pin to low, turning it off. And then for the same thing for 3 and 4, I'm going to do another digital light for 3. But instead of pin 2, I'm going to do pin 3, making it relay number 2. I'm going to set that to on. Then for 4, I'm going to set that to off. Okay, so that's all the code we actually need. So the basic code is this variable setup, then reading from the serial buffer, setting it up, and that's pretty much it. So in the if statements, you're going to do whatever you want to do. That might be turning on a relay, turning a servo, turning on a motor, whatever you want. So it's a pretty simple Arduino code. And after that, we can do we can verify our code. It's going to take a couple seconds. Then we can push it to the Arduino. Okay, so here I have the Arduino and all the circuitry set up. I got the Arduino Uno hooked up to the HC05 Bluetooth module. All of that's hooked up. Then my relay board is hooked up to pins 3 and 4 on the digital pins of the Arduino. Now the light, the toilet roll with the LEDs on, represents the lights on and off, and the motor is replacing the door lock. So when it's rotating, it's locked, and when it's not rotating, it's unlocked. So I'm going to grab my phone, run the app. Here we go. Press connect. I only got one thing hooked up to the phone, so press that. And then I can start talking. So Arduino, lights on. There we go. Arduino, lights off. Arduino, lights off. Sometimes it doesn't pick up on every single word, so you might have to repeat it a couple times. Arduino, lock door. Arduino, unlock door. Yeah, there you go. Actually, this works better than I expected. Okay, so guys, that's the end of this video. I hope, let me turn this off. That's quite annoying. So that's the end of this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up right there. Consider subscribing. Check out my Instagram, links down below. I'll see you next time. Bye.